So today we got our first look at the full deck lists for the Wilds of Eldraine commander decks. I took a quick look at them earlier today and they seemed pretty interesting, so I thought it could be fun to take a closer look at them and kind of do an evaluation. We're going to bring them up now. So this is the article from the Magic website, the commander deck lists. There are two of them. There's the blue-black fairies deck, Fae Dominion, and the green-white enchantment deck, Virtue and Valor. You can look at the full lists here, however, you don't really get to see the new cards because they're not up on the Wizards database yet. You can see it's just like this. So we're going to take a look at them in MTG Goldfish. Also, what's cool here is that you can see the live pricing for the cards and the decks. It's not always accurate, especially with brand new cards that you're going to see in here, but it does give you kind of an idea of what the value of the deck might be. So we'll go over the Virtue and Valor one first. This is the green-white enchantment. So this is the face commander, Elivir of the Wild Court. It's a 4/4 for 4 mana. Legendary Human Knight. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, create a virtuous roll token attached to another target creature you control. Whenever an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Okay, so it's a 4/4/4. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you can put an aura, the virtuous roll token, I believe that's an aura, on a creature you control, and then you can draw cards. It seems like a good build-around commander. Like, it has good stats, has a good ability, you can get your card advantage. I think this card is pretty decent for the face commander. A lot of the time, what I'm most interested to see with these deck lists is the reprints. So we'll go over those, and also we'll read the new cards as we get to them. So Destiny Spinner, that's a good reprint. It's a good enchantment synergy card. Actually, one thing I'll point out is we just got the enchantment deck Precon from Commander Masters, and we're getting another one right after it in Wilds of Eldraine. So, I mean, if you want to potentially get some upgrades for either one of these decks, you can just buy the other one, like mash them together, and there's your deck. But anyway, Destiny Spinner, it is a good card for enchantments. That's a good reprint. Jukai Naturalist, that's definitely great for enchantment as well. That's good. Core Spirit Dancer is pretty cool. You can see that has a bit of a price tag on it, just a little bit, but it's great for auras. Paradise Druid, it's a good ramp card. It's a little bit strange for it to be in here, although it does make sense actually because it has hexproof as long as it's untapped. And if you want to be putting auras on things, hexproof is, pretty conducive to that strategy. Sanctum Weaver, that's another good reprint. This card, I believe, has gotten a few reprints already, but yeah, that's a good inclusion. Starfield Mystic, discounting your enchantments, that's another good inclusion. Haven't seen a whole lot of value so far, but there is value in this deck. Sylvan Ranger, is that a reprint? So this is the first one where it's not really going in on enchantments or anything, it's just kind of a good green card. It fixes your mana, you get a basic land. This is, it's alright, it's something that you could replace. Timber Paladin, so this is one of the new cards here. A 2-mana 1/1 artifact creature knight. As long as it's enchanted by exactly 1 aura, it has base power and toughness 3/3. When it's enchanted by exactly 2 auras, it has base power, toughness 5/5, and has vigilance. And as long as it's enchanted by 3 or more auras, it has base power and toughness 10/10, vigilance, and trample. That's pretty cool, actually. This card seems quite good to me. I mean, in an auras deck, obviously, but this is a cool new card. I do like this one. Tithe Taker, it's alright. Not really so big on that one. Like, it's fine. Transcendent Envoy, discounting your auras more. Our Aura Narlid. It's not great, but it's fine. It's a common there. Danitha Capashen, or Capuchin, I don't know. It's a good one to put your auras on, but probably could swap that out for something else. Eidolon of Countless Battles. This is a cool bestow creature, a reprint from Born of the Gods. It's, it's alright. Not terribly exciting, though. I'm surprised, actually, to see $1.60 on that. That's a price that kind of crept up a little bit. So, it's getting a reprint here. Gilwain, Casting Director. Whenever this or another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, choose 1. Create a royal roll token attached to it, a sorcerer roll token attached to it, or a monster roll token attached to it. So whenever this or another non-token creature enters the battlefield, it gets you the auras you need, right? That actually seems pretty powerful for 3 mana. Yeah, that seems like it's going to be really synergistic in this deck. It'll just allow you to get the auras that you need quite easily. Loamcrafter Fawn. Another new card. 3 mana, 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you can discard 1 or more lands. When you do, return up to that many non-land permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. So you can discard 1 or more lands, just lands. And you can return non-land permanents. This doesn't really seem like it synergizes with the deck at all, does it? It's just a green value card. Non-land permanents from your graveyard to your hand. It's kind of confusing, but it's an okay effect. Could be good. Citizen Champion, that's a good reprint. Has a little bit of a price tag there. Siona, Captain of the Pyleus, yeah, a reprint from Theros Beyond Death. Tanglespan Lookout. Umbra Mystic. Umbra Mystic is kind of a cool reprint. This is one that has some value here, $6 or so. Auras attached to permanents you control have totem armor. That's a good reprint. That's a good include in here. Johnny's Chosen there. That's been printed, I think, quite a few times. Archon of Sun's Grace. It's a reprint from Theros Beyond Death again, I believe, and it looks like also another reprint from the Commander Masters deck. Eidolon of Blossoms, it's always good in Commander decks. Get a little bit of value there as well. Oxdrover, here's another new card. 4 mana, 4/4 with Vigilance. Can't be blocked by Oxen. Alright. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, target opponent makes a 2/4 white Ox token, and you draw a card. That seems pretty good. 4/4 Vigilance for 4, draws you a card when it comes into play, draws a card when it attacks, and makes opponent like Pillar Field Oxes, essentially. But that's fine. I'm okay with giving them that to draw a card. This seems pretty good. This is a cool new card. Shalai. That's a good reprint. I'm surprised to see $5 on this. It's another one that kind of crept up, but yeah, Shalai is a good reprint. Celestial Archon out of the original Theros block. It's alright. Liberated Livestock, another new card here. Catbird Ox, holy crap. It's a 4/6 for 6. When it dies, create a 1/1 cat with lifelink, a 1/1 bird with flying, and a 2/4 ox with nothing. For each of those tokens, you can put an aura card from your hand and or graveyard onto the battlefield attached to it. Wow. That seems like a really powerful card, because you can pull stuff out of your graveyard. And you can do it 3 times. This card seems kind of nuts. Yeah, that's one that I'd be on the lookout for. And you notice for some of these, they don't have a price. It's because they're brand new and they just haven't been priced yet. Sun Titan, it's in every white deck, basically. Reprinted all the time. Realm Cloaked Giant. Another decent reprint from Throne of Eldraine. It's just like a value card, basically. It's all the creatures. You've got what? Swords to Plowshares, good. Generous Gift, good. Retether. It's a cool reprint, actually. Look at that, $7. That one's crept up as well. For returning each aura card from your graveyard to play. Only creatures can be enchanted this way, obviously. Actually, yeah, there are auras that go on things other than creatures. So aura cards that can't enchant a creature remain in your graveyard. Okay. Unfinished Business. Here's another new card. 5 mana, return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Return up to 2 target aura and or equipment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to that creature. That's pretty cool too. 5 mana sorcery gets back a creature, up to 2 auras and equipments. Seems good. You got a Winds of Wrath. Another reprint there. Austere Command. It's a good Wrath. Rishkar's Expertise. It's a good reprint as well. It's got some value. Soul Ring, obviously. Arcane Signet, obviously. Ethereal Armor. It's a great aura. Utopia Sprawl. This is a good reprint. This is a common. This is like a $5 common. So this is a really good reprint to have in here. Daybreak Coronet. Another reprint. It's from some sets. Ultimate Masters is one of them. You know, it's got some value there as well. It's a good reprint to have in this deck. You got a Fertile Ground. Looks like some more ramp here whenever Enchanted Land is tapped for mana. Yeah, another one, so you get some ramp there. Kenrith's Transformation here. I was surprised, like, this is not that old of cards from Throne of Eldraine. It's an uncommon, but it's got you know, it's got a price tag on it there, so that one, you know, for an uncommon that did need a reprint. Spectral Steel. I mean, it's cool because you can return it from your graveyard, so that makes sense to have it in this deck. Warbriar Blessing, probably... Actually, it's not bad. I mean, it's a removal spell as an aura, so I was going to say you could replace it with something, but that could actually be pretty useful in this deck. Ancestral Mask, +2/+2 for each other enchantment in play. That's pretty big, and you can see there it has a price tag for being a common from Mercadian Masks. So there's a good reprint. Careful Cultivation, not so exciting. Enchantress's Presence, it goes in, you know, any enchantment deck, right? And it's in this one. It's been printed a ton of times, so it doesn't have much value, but it's, you know, you want it in this deck. Snake Umbra, it's good. Timely Ward, what does this one do? It's a reprint from Commander Legends, apparently. 3 mana. Cast it for flesh if it targets a commander, and enchanted creature has indestructible, so yeah, that's alright. Has a little bit of value there too. Angelic Destiny, it's a good aura, has some value, and Bear Umbra, that's a good reprint as well, so there's lots of value there. Indomitable Might, what's that from? That's from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms commander? +3/+3, assign combat damage as though it weren't blocked. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Sage's Reverie, this has been in some several decks before as well, I think. Songbird's Blessing, so we have another new card here. 4 mana, aura. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, reveal a card from the top of your library until you reveal an aura. You can put that card onto the battlefield. If you don't, put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. That's pretty good, actually. Yeah, that's another cool... A lot of the new cards I'm looking at here seem quite good. Giant Inheritance, 5 mana enchant creature, gets +5/+5. Has whenever it attacks, you make a monster roll attached to up to 1 target attacking creature. When it's put into the graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. That's a powerful effect. It's like a Rancor type of effect. Seems good as well. Mantle of the Ancients. It's a reprint that has... Look at this. Is that actually $7? Is that correct? Yeah, wow. From Adventures in the Forgotten Realms commander. Good reprint there. Verdant Embrace, another reprint. You got Pollen Bright Wings. It's an uncommon there. What's that originally from, I wonder? I haven't seen this card. Original Ravnica. Okay. There's two... These are 2 new cards here. I have them up separately because they don't appear in this list, but you have Armont. Well, who's this one? Sir Armont the Redeemer. It's an uncommon 4/4 for 5 mana. It's a legendary creature. When it enters the battlefield, to make a monster roll attached to another target creature you control, enchanted creatures you control get +1/+1. It's alright. It feels like an uncommon. It's probably one that I would swap out for something else. Like, it's fine, but you could play something better. And this Knick-Knack Oof. X and a green, a 1/1, enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it, so it's basically a Hydra. When it enters the battlefield, reveal the top X card to your library. You can put any number of auras with mana value X or less or among them onto the battlefield. I'll put all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield on the bottom in a random order. So it's kind of like Genesis Wave stapled onto a Hydra, but only for auras. It's a really powerful card in this deck. This one seems pretty cool, and I like the picture too. Yeah, I like that one. And then we're at the lands here. Canopy Vista. So you see these lands in pretty much every commander deck. Canopy Vista, Castle Ardenvale. Castle Ardenvale's good. Command Tower, a bunch of forests, Fortified Village. Hall of Heliod's Generosity sticks out. This is, I think, the most valuable reprint in the deck, which is good. This is a good reprint to have in the deck, so that's nice to see. Frozen Verge, Myriad Landscape Plains, Sungrass Prairie, Temple of Plenty, and V2 Ghazi the City Tree. So, like, for just the regular commander decks, this seems like a really good deck. Like, there are some decks, because you get them for every set now, right? And sometimes they're not very exciting, but this one seems quite good to me. You know, there's good reprints, there's good value. The new cards seem powerful and synergistic. Like, this seems like a really good deck to me. So yeah, I don't know, if I were to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as precons go, I'd probably give it like an 8, maybe. It seems good to me. Now, on to the other one, the fairies one. You can see right away, it says less value, but once again, just take that number with a grain of salt, because this is very early on, and some of the cards don't even have prices yet. So, Fae Dominion. Face commander is Tegwill, Duke of Splendor. I did see this card earlier, and it seems very good. 3 mana, 2/3 flying, death touch. Other fairies you control get +1/+1. Whenever another fairy you control dies, you draw a card and lose a life. That's a powerful effect stapled onto a Lord with flying and death touch for 3 mana. This card seems really good to me. Let's go into some reprints here. We got a Fairy Seer. So 1 mana. I feel like there's going to be a lot of like cheap fairies, but we got a Fairy Seer here. Cloud of Fairies, good reprint. Hypnotic Sprite, you know, out of Throne of Eldraine. Night Veil Sprite. Obira Dreaming Duelist. Is this... So this looks like it's from the actual Wilds of Eldraine set. When enters the battlefield. Whenever another fairy enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1. That could be cool. Has flash and flying, 2/2. That's a good card. Picklock Prankster, another one from the set proper. Quickling, good fairy reprint. Brazen Borrower is cool from Throne of Eldraine. I was a little bit surprised to see this is still, you know, $10 plus, but it's a good reprint to have in here. It has value. It's a good card. Here's a new card, Fairy Blade Crafter. 3 mana, 2/2 flying. Whenever one or more fairies you control deal combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on this. When it dies, each opponent loses X life and you gain X, where X is power. That's pretty cool. Like, I was looking at this earlier during my stream, and I was saying how, like, seeing this ability makes me want to just pump it up with a lot of power somehow and sack it and drain my opponents out. I feel like it would be hard to do that, but it's what I want to do with it. Halo Forager from Merchant of the Machine there. Mocking Sprite. Several cards from the set proper in here. Nettling Nuisance, another new card. 3 mana, 3/1 flying. Whenever one or more fairies you control deal combat damage to a player, that player makes a 4/2 red pirate creature token. That's kind of weird. This creature can't block. The token's goaded for the rest of the game. Huh. So you're playing a politics game and having your opponents attack each other. It's pretty cool. A little bit surprised this doesn't have flash, but still. It's a cool card. I'm not sure how good it is, but it's probably pretty decent. Got a Sign of Una. That's a good value reprint right there, about $8. And the new Alayla here. I was looking at this also. 4 mana, 2/4 flying. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, make a 1/1 black fairy rogue with flying. Whenever one or more fairies you control deal combat damage to a player, goad target creature that player controls. This one isn't so exciting to me. Like, it's fine, but I don't know. I might want to swap that out for something else. It's alright. Blightwing Bandit, 4 mana flying death touch, 2/2. It's another new card here. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, look at the top card of that player's library, exile it face down. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. Spend mana of any type to cast it. It seems pretty good to me. Like, it's a 2/2 for 4 is not good, but it has flying and death touch. But it basically is like, whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, draw a card, almost. Because, you know, you can play their card. I don't believe it matters if this thing dies or not. You can still play it, I think. And you do that, you know, in a 4-player game 3 times per turn cycle. So I do like this card. Glenelendra Archmage, that's a good reprint. It's a super powerful card. It has value as well. Glenelendra Liege, it's definitely good for the deck. Not a whole lot of value. Felt kind of bad to open that in Double Masters 2. There's a new card, Malleable Imposter, flash flying, 4 mana, 0/0. You can have it enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature an opponent controls, except it's a fairy shapeshifter in addition to its other types, and it has flying. So it's a clone card. You know, they're all right. It's a fairy clone. You got a Rankle. Still has a little bit of value, but you know, Rankle. Actually, you know, it's kind of weird. Originally Mythic and Throne of Eldraine, just reprinted in Commander Masters. Here it is again, right here. One, you know, back to back. Sower of Temptation, it's good. I'm sure it'll be good in this deck. It has a little bit of value. Spellscorn Coven, another card from the set proper. Archmage of Echoes, that's another one that we're going to have to bring up. Rare 4/4, 5 mana, Flying Ward 2. Whenever you cast a fairy or wizard permanent spell, copy it. Yeah, that's a good card. Yeah. That's a good one right there. Don't know the value on it, but I expect it to have some value. Fairy Formation, it's good. Reprint there from Jumpstart. Nimrus, another decent reprint from Commander Legends 1, I believe. Puppeteer Clique. Una, you got some decent reprints. Hullbreaker Horror yet again. How many times has this card been reprinted? So one, oh, not that many actually. It's what, third, fourth. Still good though. Still has some value. It's a good card. Shadow Puppeteer is another new card. 7 mana, 4/4, Flying Ward 2. When it enters the battlefield, you make 2/1/1 Black Fairy Rogue creature tokens with flying. So it's 6 power and toughness over 3 creatures with flying for 7 mana. Whenever creature you control with flying attacks, you can have it become a red dragon with face power and toughness 4/4, in addition to its other colors and types until end of turn. That's pretty cool, actually. I do like that card. You can see in the art, it turns into a dragon. I like it. You gotta consider reprint. It's a good common. Opt, very playable. Arcane Denial, very playable as well. Got some value there. Reality Shift, Run Away Together, Snap, Spell Stutter, Frantic Search, Keep Watch, and Restless Flight. So not a whole lot of value there, but you got playable spells. What else? Repulse, Theoretical Duplication, Distant Melody, Factor Fiction, Illusionist's Gambit. This one has a bit of value from Commander 2013. It's pretty old. Nightmare Unmaking. You got a Perplexing Test. Thrilling Encore is cool. I like this card from Battle Bond. I've wanted to put this card in a lot of decks, but haven't really. But I have a copy of it, and whenever I make a black deck, I'm like, hey, I could put this card in it. It would probably be pretty cool. But it's getting a reprint and it has some value, so that's cool. Here's another new card. Tegwill's Scouring, 6 mana sorcery, you can cast it. So it had flash by tapping 3 untapped creatures with flying, in addition to paying its other costs. Destroy all creatures, make 3/1/1 fairy rogues with flying. That's pretty cool. Like, it's a 6 mana wrath, so it's a lot of mana, but you can cast it with flash and you get your 3/1/1s back. That's a cool take on a wrath. Kindred, so this is one that I pointed out on stream earlier also, Kindred Dominance. This is one that had value. Like, you go back before it was reprinted, $25 or so. Gets reprinted as one of the, it should be a card you're happy to open in Commander Masters. But then right away, it's reprinted again in a Precon. So, like, now it's gonna kind of suck to open that in Commander Masters. You buy your $20 booster pack, you're like, hey, I got something with decent value in it. But now it's just reprinted again immediately in a Precon. That one, I don't know. Well, there's more copies of it now, if nothing else, right? So, it's available. Take Through Time, good reprint. Soul Ring, Wayfarer's Bauble, Arcane Signet, this typical artifact. Commander stuff, Debir Signet. Felwar Stone is good, Mind Stone, Talisman of Dominance, Midnight Clock, and Misleading Signpost, that's a new one. I was looking at this earlier as well. It's basically a 3 mana rock that can mess around with one of your opponent's attacks, because you can... So it has flash. When it enters the battlefield, during the declare attacker step, you can reselect which player or permanent target attacking creature is attacking. So you play it with flash during your opponent's attack step after they've declared attackers, and you can change where one of their attackers is going. So it's cool. It's a cool take on a mana rock. Reconnaissance Mission, good reprint. Reflections of Lityara, another good reprint, has a little bit of value. And then we'll go to the lands, Bajuka Bog, Choked Estuary, it's all kind of typical stuff. Command Tower, Darkwater Catacombs, Demir Aqueduct, Exotic Orchard, Fairy Conclave, yeah, that should be in there, Island, Myriad Landscape, Path of Ancestry. And then you got this Secluded Glen, which is a good reprint. It has value, and it's, it's not in every commander deck, right? So it goes good with fairies. Sunken Hollow, Swamp Tainted Isle, Temple of Deceit, and Temple of the False God. So this one also, it does look like a good commander deck. I would be happy to pick this up and play it right out of the box. It seems like it's got some good synergies, it has good value in it. It doesn't seem as good as the other one, I think. They're both good. So it's kind of weird, because if I were to play one of these decks, this is more the style of deck I would want to play. But at the same time, this deck as a whole looks more appealing based on what's inside it. But they both are good decks, I think. So like I said, I would rate this like an 8 out of 10 for the first one, but the fairies one, I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. Like a 7 point, no, probably a 7 out of 10. Like, this is a good deck as well. Both of these decks, I think, yeah. Very playable, they have good reprints, there's value, and they have interesting and powerful new cards as well, so quite happy with both of these new precons. So there we are with the evaluation of both the precons. I think they're both pretty cool. Let me know, what do you think of them? Is there one in particular you're looking at picking up, and are there any, upgrades in particular that you might want to put in them? But anyway though, if you're still watching, thanks for watching. It'd be cool if you can like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. I'd encourage everyone to come join my Discord server. You can find a link to that in the video description below. And in the video description, you can also find my affiliate links for Dragon Shield. You can see we've got some Dragon Shield product up here. If you'd like to purchase any gaming supplies, you can follow those affiliate links and help out the channel while you do so. And if you'd like to purchase any Magic cards, you can get those by going to facetofacegames.com. They're the largest Magic store in Canada. They're also a sponsor of the channel. And if you use code 8thPlaceDave at the checkout, you can save 5% on your order. Otherwise though, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.